Hello enthusiasts and welcome to Scaled Affairs, the show where I try to rationalize my purchases while trying to fight buyer's remorse by presenting you a review of various anime figures. So be my guest and welcome today's figure on the turntable. Nendoroid No. 1970, Jill Stingray from the indie game Valhalla. She comes to you in a crazy themed Nendo box in solid black and neon with some pixel art on the sides and backside. It's still the same old box in terms of size, but the color scheme on this one makes it almost look like a special. Inside the box you will find the figure embedded in your standard plastic shell with nothing but the base in back and all the extra parts scattered in front at full display. Last time I questioned the placement of the faceplate since you can't see them in the box, and this time I have to ask critical about the plastic wrapper around the figure. I know it's for protection, but in combination with the dark inlay you can barely see a thing inside. So good smile, if you ever redesign those boxes, be bold and maybe ditch the front window completely like you already do with the Nendo dolls. This fine lady is from a little game called Valhalla Cyberpunk Bartender Action by Sukeban Games, and many people, me included, were very surprised that they announced a Nendo version of the main character. On the other hand, sometimes when I look at what gets greenlit to become a Nendo lately, it's only a matter of time if every series, game or character becomes one, no matter how obscure. By the way, before we move on to the figure itself, I want to show off the inlay of the box. Normally I don't do this because they are pretty generic, but this one for some reason is special. Also, here are some of this figure's key specs, as well as all the extra parts she comes with. As a bartender, Jill of course comes with a shaker and cocktail glass as her main accessories. I was a bit surprised that the glass is molded into her hand so it can't be separated, and if you want to use it on other Nendos, you have to switch out the whole hand. Also a little bit surprising was that the pink liquid in the glass is a separate piece that can be removed. I guess this gives you a little bit more play options, but it's also a piece that might be gone forever if you drop it onto the floor since it's so tiny. The metallic coated shaker has a pack hole on the backside that connects with one of her spare hands. Sadly, I wasn't able to reenact the pose where she is mixing a drink. As you can see, I used the correct parts, but the weight of the shaker is a bit too high, and so her arm always slipped down a bit. You can still guess what she's supposed to do, but it doesn't look like the firm grip she has on it as on the promotional pictures. After a hard day's work or during breaks, Jill can enjoy a cigarette. That very small piece is also molded onto a hand, and I think it's for the better because this would be even easier to lose than the pink liquid. Luckily it's a pretty standard gesture and a normal cigarette, so I'm sure there are plenty of characters that could share this piece. As for the last piece of accessory, Jill also comes with her Pet Cat 4 that can be laid on the base next to her. Of course, it's always nice to have some in-scale critters in your collection, but this edition feels not very thought out. The only pose that lets Jill interact with him is this one, as suggested on the box, but as far as I remember, 4 is mostly associated with Jill's apartment, in which she normally doesn't wear the bartender uniform, so this setting doesn't make much sense. But I guess they had to include something to make this Nendo worthwhile, because let me tell you, Jill ain't cheap. 6,600 yen for a figure with not much accessories and a relatively plain outfit is a hard sell, and I think they knew that there aren't many alternatives out there for a fan of this series. Her overall paint job is fine, but I guess you can't screw up that hard with only like 5 colors in use. I do like her hair and head sculpt though, it has some nice proportions and her twin tails are attached with real ball joints rather than whatever my Rise here is sporting. But then again, they are apart like 1000 releases, or in other words, 4 years. Last but not least, let's take a closer look on Jill's facial expressions. Once again, not much variety, but a solid execution, once with her standard no-nonsense business face, one where she apparently is in a good mood, and a gag face that due to its nature also might be interesting for other characters as well. In conclusion, this Nendo I can only recommend to people who are fans of the game or the character, because then it's slim pickings for you when it comes to figures. It's a solid representation of Jill Stingray, but if you are just on the lookout for some bartender equipment, buy some dollhouse miniatures instead. Interestingly enough, Jill will be joined by Dorothy in the spring of 2024. Once again, if you are a fan, they will make a cute set, and for some reason Dorothy will also cost 1,000 yen less. So I guess the high price can't be because of the IP either. Next time, a scale figure I never thought would see the light of day. Until then, thanks for watching, and hopefully we can see each other again in a new episode of Scaled Affairs, when I once again take a closer look on anime figures of all sorts. Take care out there and keep having fun collecting.